What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. It's me, Gramby Graham, and of course, over there is my main man, Davey Dave.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Gramby Graham?
Not much, buddy. We have got a really fun episode today that we recorded back in June at Bitcoin 2019.
Yeah, we sat down with fellow podcasters Gary Leland of Crypto Cousins and the 4 Minute Crypto Show and Joel Comm from the Bad Crypto Podcast.
Yep, they took precious time away from the conference to come shoot the breeze with us about, everything, really.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we talked a lot about just podcasting in the space, our introductions into crypto, a bit about regulation, and even a little bit about the great scooter debate happening across the world right now.
Yeah, I've been following some of the laws that are being proposed in Nashville, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I heard something on NPR yesterday about how Paris is like losing their minds because scooters are like littering the Louvre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like all these great monuments are just like scooters are laying everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not too happy about it. But
as a bike commuter, I hate birds.
I think most people hate them. If you're not a rider of them, you probably hate them.
It's true. Yeah.
But advice of the day, Davey Dave, always wear a helmet, buddy.
Anyway, if you're out there listening, Gary and Joel, thanks so much for talking and taking the time to get away from the conference to shoot the breeze with us.
Yeah, it was really great having you on, guys. And to all of our listeners out there, enjoy the show.
There's a lot of podcasts in this space.
Now there is.
Yeah.
Now
it's
saturated. Yeah.
I think I started in September, so I was like
2017, yeah.
No, 2008. No, 2017. Yeah, September. So that's just a couple months after you. Mm-hmm. I guess when I started. Didn't take me long. I listened to your show and say, well, hell, that was pretty bad.
I can do this.
He's doing good.
Well, that was the thing.
In the literal bad. Not the, okay.
Yeah. We were the first ones to come along and say, hey, we're clueless and we just want to figure this out. So come along with us. And that's what resonated with people is like, hey, these are just two dudes, talking crypto and they're not pretending to be experts and they're not experts. You know the song. That's so awesome.
So outside of crypto, like what was the podcast space like then? I'm just trying to get a frame of like when did Serial come out? Because that kind of like boosted podcasting in general.
Before then.
Yeah, I mean,
Serial came out in 2016 or 2017.
Okay, gotcha.
Rogan's been going since 2009.
Yeah, that guy's an animal.
Yeah,
so
his shows are long too.
Super long. Did you listen to Alex Jones? Dude, that is the
I've
most
only
entertaining 4 hours
insane.
of podcasting ever.
That was the 4-hour episode.
Yes. Actually, I think they went closer to 5. He was super entertaining.
I just watched like the little like highlights, that he posts on YouTube. So I don't think I can dedicate 4 hours to just pure Alex Jones. But
it goes by quickly.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, let me ask you guys, what do you think about Joe Rogan? Why do you think he's like become so successful, other than the fact that he had like a prior name? Like, why do you think his shows?
I'm going to let you go first because I was watching it the other day and I don't know why he's so
Yeah,
successful.
so
to be honest
I was
with you.
actually having this conversation with my friend
So I
Larry
can't answer your
Long
question.
over dinner yesterday, and I think it's a couple things. One, it's the longevity.
Mm.
2, he's dabbled in a lot of other areas, right? He was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Talk Radio, the show with Phil Hartman.
No, see, I didn't know that.
Years ago.
Shit,
Very
right.
young.
I forgot about that.
Very young Joe Rogan.
Wow.
He's done stand-up comedy. He's the UFC guy,
Uh-huh.
right? He's been podcasting for 10 years now, and he smokes dope, right? He's this laid-back, chill guy. I'm not endorsing, smoking weed. I'm just saying people are like, this dude's real, and he has these real conversations. Frankly, I also don't understand listening that long to a show. I mean, we try and keep ours under an hour.
I drive 5 minutes to work. It would take me a month to listen to one episode. I mean,
But it's a passive thing. That's the good thing about podcasting. It's not like watching video. You can just hit play. You can go for a walk. You can be working.
Right.
And you're kind of listening. You're kind of not.
Right.
I often wonder when people listen to our shows, right? Your shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you guys listening right now, or
are you zoning out?
Yeah. Hello. Tune in. We're talking here. But I think there's always that one, outlier, and he's it.
Yeah.
He's just it.
Well, he has great guests too that are really.
No, he
engaging.
does have good guests.
Yeah. I mean, and you're probably right. It's like just the longevity. It's like, I don't know. You think of podcasts, you're like, okay, Serial, Joe Rogan.
But
Like,
I
what
found
else?
that a lot of women hate him.
Really?
Yeah, I was at a podcasting conference a month ago in Austin, and like these gals who were like really independent women. I don't know what we call them. They were real strong women as far as being women, rights and stuff. They were like, I like every man except Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So what?
And I was like, what's that about? What is?
Boo hoo.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying for some reason some women hate him. I don't watch enough of the show to know what their deal is.
I don't know.
He's
why
definitely got a mostly male audience.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to him on Monday or Sunday, and he actually admitted that. So
yeah,
he's not like Howard Stern. Stern was a shock jock and deliberately was offensive to women.
Objectified women, yeah, for sure.
Right.
He's turned around a little bit, and Stern's very. He's been like welcomed by like the feminist movement by how he does interviews, which is like kind of interesting. I read like an article about it recently.
It's amazing. Some people, they can go back 30 years in your history and say, you said this horrible thing 30 years ago and you're a horrible person. But Stern gets a buy.
He does.
Right?
Because,
and how much do you change in like 2 years?
Yeah.
Like 3 years?
No.
5, it's not really a fair way to like scale that, but I don't know. I feel like Joe Rogan's just honest in a comedian way. Like Bill Burr's that way too.
Mhm.
It's just Bill Burr's like, I'm just gonna tell you what I think and I'm not trying to like offend you. And that's probably what Joe Rogan
Comedy's the last bastion of free speech, I think.
like almost not anymore.
Because people get offended by the silliest stuff. And they don't, I don't think people realize that being offended is a weakness. It is the sign of a person unable to deal with reality.
Mm-hmm.
When we get offended, it's like, you know what? Tune it out. Switch the channel. Don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't whine like a little baby because you don't like what somebody said. I don't know. That's just
I totally agree.
People talk about
Totally
outrage culture, like on the internet. Just people
weakness.
love. There's a culture of just people loving to get outraged about
Anything.
something going on.
Just anything.
Yeah.
And it's like it's kind of crazy that that's sort of like happened. It's like a
Jerry Seinfeld won't speak on college campuses. He won't do a show on college
I
campuses
saw that
anymore
because of the
PC. It's like college campuses used to be the bastion of free speech where all ideas were explored. And now they have safe spaces. Seriously.
So coddled.
You need a space. You know what? You're not going to be ready for the real world if you need a safe space. You are not able to cope with the harsh realities of life if you need a safe space for anything. And the fact that our universe, I'm going off now.
No, I love it.
I'm preaching. Give me my soapbox, damn it. Stop me, Gary. Stop
I've
me.
been saying the same thing for a long time. I've been saying the same thing, though. I think it goes even further than that. I think it goes back to these kids, when they're 7 or 8, 10, 12, 14, and they all get a damn trophy and they never lose anything. They get a trophy their whole life. They go through that and then they go to college, and they've had a safe space. Now they've moved in from the territory I complain about. They all get an award. They never lose. They go to the safe space and they go to the real world. And their boss goes, "You're a loser, buddy. You do a terrible job." They go, "I can't be a loser. I've been a winner my whole life."
Yeah, I'm going to
The only reason they've been a winner my whole life is because they
fair.
made me a winner.
That's the thing.
I demand justice.
Yeah.
And I think they go
justice
off
is-
the wall. They can't handle it because they've never been told they were a loser.
Justice is you get nothing, sir. You lose. Good day.
Thank you, Willie.
Yes. I knew you'd get that.
It's like I don't know if you know any like with the whole like scooter debate going on right now, like all these like bird scooters and everything.
What about him?
Well, it's like people are getting hurt and because they get on them all wasted and then they wreck them and they're like, "Oh, scooters are dangerous. You hurt me. It's your fault." It's like there's no fucking.
We need scooter
anymore.
control.
Yeah.
They tell you at least in Lime, which they have Lime by me in Denver, that I agree to wear a helmet, right? And if you don't have one, we'll send you one.
Right.
They'll send you a helmet. Right. And so you got nobody to blame but yourself for stupid stuff you do.
No, but nobody wants to be responsible for anything that they do wrong.
It's like crypto, right? Let's talk about crypto.
Yeah. Talk about
is that what this show's
responsibility.
about, Mike?
You got people, investing because they read something on Reddit, that some coin's going to moon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get all bent out of shape when they lose their money and they want to blame, the founders of the company or whatever.
Right.
It's a scam.
It's a scam.
Yeah, it's got to be a scam. I wouldn't make a mistake. Unless someone scammed me. I'm way too smart to make a
Never
mistake
made a
because I've
mistake.
never lost.
How do you guys feel about regulation around the space and having the government tell us? In particular, I'm thinking of qualified investors, right? You need to have $1 million in net worth. And the government says in order to invest in certain securities and stuff.
I'm not big on that because that's the way it is now in stocks and securities. And a lot of people can't get in on the action.
Right, but do you feel that they should be able to? Do you feel?
Yeah, I feel they should be able to get in on the action.
Right.
I don't think it should be left for just these certain people to take advantage of.
So the rich can get richer.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, somebody that's just got a couple grand they want to throw into something.
And they're going, man, I know this is coming out. I know this is going to be a winner. Then, I can't get involved.
That's when they start losing control.
Yeah.
I feel like back in 2017 when the ICOs like took off, like at that point I could understand. I was like thinking, I see a need for regulation because there's so much crap out there.
But why?
Because I feel like after a while there's no sort of discernibility. Nobody can read what is good and what is bad.
Okay, I'm gonna argue with you on this. By the way, James Altucher would be really proud of your hair.
When I walked by, I thought it was James.
I just want to say, your hair is totally mimicking James, and he would be down with it.
Okay, so regulation.
Okay. I was like, can we get off the hair?
Podcasters.
Can we get off the hair, please? So what you're saying is, I don't think people are smart enough or responsible enough to do their own due diligence to make their investments. We need government to come in and say, no, you shouldn't do this.
No. So what I'm saying is there's so much stuff out there in that early stage that when regulation came in, when the SEC came in and they cracked down on some that were not most.
Well, I was just thinking
more
ICOs,
so, yeah.
like
when they make I think when they make examples out of like in the past when they made examples out of there's this one that was a diamond oil scam where they were saying it was backed by diamond
oil coin,
crypto backed by diamond and oil.
Bitcoin oil's coming out.
I thought it was Bitcoin oil, diamond, platinum plus, super supreme pizza coin. Wasn't that the one coming? Yeah. The new fork.
Oh,
you have to eat it with the fork.
Get a moon.
So I want something more realistic, like say Spank Chain.
Yes.
All right, but
no.
So I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about Silk Road? Did you feel like that people should be able to buy whatever they want to do from Silk Road, put in their own body?
Yeah. So
you feel they can do what they want to.
I had no problem with Silk Road. I had a problem with the ICOs at the time because it felt like the whole purpose of what Bitcoin and these other larger cryptocurrency projects were trying to achieve, and even some new ones that were coming out that were completely overshadowed by the crap. It felt like it was just an obstacle for them to actually do what they were trying to do because there are people who are out there and they're basically just trying to steal people's money.
Okay, but you can literally walk down to the corner store and plunk down as much of your paycheck as you want on lottery tickets.
Right.
Sure.
The absolute, I'll tell you what, you give me $1,000 and spread it out amongst 1,000 different shit coins.
Yeah.
Or buy $1,000 in lottery tickets, and I will come out ahead in the shit coins.
Yeah. So
because
I have
one or two of them will go somewhere.
Yeah. So I have no issue with investors doing whatever the hell they want with their money. I just think there should be some sort of barrier to entry for the scams.
Well, I think what I would add on to that is I think humans, not all of us, but I think we have a tendency to take shortcuts, and really smart CEOs are looking for that shortcut to, I'm going to do air quotes, scam people. And I think a lot of that early ICO stuff was how do we get $400 million in here, and how do we just bail?
Right, but isn't this where being adult comes in and you say...
Totally, but if your website looks great and it looks professional, and I'm like, honey, I think we should put $10K in this thing. And that's
based on what? Because the website looks good?
I just I don't know. Sometimes the resources are limited.
When would you ever do that?
I would never do that.
When would you ever just go look at a website and say, I'm going to throw my life savings at this? You wouldn't. Yeah.
But in that boom, when it's this is changing the world, all these coins are going up, and you're you know what? This is when we need to get in. These guys are saying they're going to do this.
Did this happen to you? Is that what
No.
Is this therapy?
I'm justifying what Dave's going.
Yeah.
But whose fault is that?
It rests in the investor. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And you know what? I think I become, when they say when you're young, if you're not a liberal, you have no heart. When you get older, if you're not a conservative, you have no brain. Because you're in the real world, you understand how things work. But I feel like I lean more and more libertarian now than ever before. Maybe it's the McAfee influence. I don't know. I'm not moving to Cuba and I'm paying my taxes. So we're all good, Mr. IRS, man. But I feel like personal risk, the more government comes in and says, here's what you can and what you can't do, the more we are giving over our liberty to do what we want to do. And now, how has regulation worked out for the small investor? You can't play in a lot of these things unless you're accredited because the government, we want a regulation, and now you can't do it.
I'm always scared it's like one step at a time. Okay, so you're asking for this help here. So they come in to do what you want, but then now they've got their foot in the door. And guess what? 3 years later, we need this more regulation. And 2 years later, we need some more. It's like the income taxes. I think income taxes, when they came out with federal income taxes, they promised they would never go over like 1.5%.
Of course they did.
And then it went up all the way into the 90s at one point in time. But they promised never going to do it. That's the deal. They just change this stuff. Later, they can do what they want. And I think that's the way regulation would do. Once you let them in the door, then you can't bar the door. Katie can't bar it because it's going to be things changing rapidly.
But Joel, back to your point. So let's say regulation comes in and makes it so that only accredited investors can get in if they're in the United States because the SEC is mandating that. In that scenario, couldn't a responsible, intelligent investor figure out how to use a VPN and get around
exactly.
it?
And what it's really doing, here's the net effect that I think we all see happening in crypto space. Innovation is going elsewhere, right? They're going to Malta, they're going to Gibraltar, they're going to Singapore, they're going to Estonia.
We got to go to these places. I want to go to Gibraltar. So
they're going to places that are crypto friendly. And this crypto boom that is happening around the world, we are missing out here in America because people who are creating are saying, all right, well, Uncle Sam, screw it. We're going to go where it's friendly to us. Right. And we're missing out on an economic boom here because regulation.
And that's why all those crypto companies left New York. What was that back in 16, 17, around there?
Kraken and another company, I remember.
They were like, okay, bye.
Later, And if it really does keep booming, New York's going to be like, maybe we need to.
I did like how New York, though, the attorney, district attorney, from New York, wanted everybody to send in their filings and information, and they asked Kraken for it. And Kraken goes, "We're not New York. Screw you."
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. We're not sending you jack. We're not New York.
That's New York.
The bit license is notoriously awful.
Yeah.
Which is
of course it is, because this is what happens when people who don't understand what they're doing get involved in regulation. It just, and now, it's like, remember when Zuckerberg testified before Congress and, he had to tell the senator, when asked, how do you make money? We sell ads. Okay, you shouldn't even be testifying in front of these people if they don't understand the business model of advertising as a publisher online 10 years after the fact.
I don't think they understand much of anything.
And we want them regulating crypto. I would rather stupid people lose money and learn their lessons like we all do. Like what happened when we were little? You learn to walk, you fall down. You ride your bike, you fall off, you skin your knee. Right? You learn that, hey, that stove is hot. Don't throw your money into shitcoins. You lost.
I think more of where I'm coming from is the regulation of the business itself and making sure you're doing checks and balances to make sure it's legitimate. Because I just I've heard stories of people just getting completely wrecked.
So it's not a nice looking website with a picture of an actor on there.
Well, let me ask you guys this. I'm curious in all your responses. Bitcoin's invented. Bitcoin is a thing. What does it need other than itself?
Well, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about other utility tokens and things that might serve another function.
Well, if Bitcoin doesn't need it, why do these other coins?
Because people are running it. People own it. It's centralized.
Yeah, but if you we have laws. If you steal from people, guess what? You can be prosecuted and you can go to prison.
I think that's great. I think it's great. And I think just like if we're even dipping in our toes into the regulation argument, it's like maybe there should be something in place to prevent that much money just disappearing. I mean, look at Quadriga CX. Like those people just got ruined.
I don't know what happened to that. What happened to
that's the one where supposedly the guy died. Is that the one where the guy died?
Yeah,
That's all his
yeah.
Bitcoin, and now it
It's
turns
like
out he's been
400
spending it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
Was he
400
dead?
Yeah.
What was the final verdict? Did he die somewhere? Or is
It's
He went
totally
to like
weird.
India.
yeah.
Right?
Supposedly he died in India.
Of an autoimmune disease
Yeah.
and disappeared.
What was it, like
And
$450 million?
That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
very
Yeah,
mysterious.
just like
And his wife was helping him out, trying to find the wallet keys and stuff. Yeah.
Well, let's pretend for a moment that the world has always, had thieves. Oh, wait, it has. Before, crypto, people have been stealing, fiat and material goods and running drugs and, scamming people for years. This is nothing new. And we want to regulate. And meanwhile, the biggest scammers of all, the banks,
oh god, yeah.
get away with the ongoing scam, right? And the Federal Reserve, which of course we all know is neither federal nor a reserve, just prints more money. Just hit the button, run the presses. Let's throw more in the supply so that $1 is now worth 3 cents. Are you going to tear up
I snagged a couple of these.
What do you got?
For our listeners, we have some Bolivars here.
Can I have one of these?
Yeah, take those with you.
Awesome. I've always wanted.
Yeah,
one.
How funny is that? What we just did? I just
Okay.
gave you 2,000 Bolivars.
Yeah, but
You're
it's
like, can I
worth
have
what?
that? I'm like, yeah, sure.
It's worth what, a penny?
I
maybe.
don't know what it's.
I heard they now at baseball games use this because it's cheaper than confetti. They use money.
Seriously.
Is that-
We ordered that on eBay, and like it's just a huge, just cardboard box.
How'd you
of
get
cash.
this in? Because this is like
Is this illegal?
To bring it in the country.
What's the word they use for that? Contraband?
Yeah, I think it is contraband.
Is that Elizabeth
that
Warren
in your
on the
pockets.
bill?
I don't know who that is. What is it? Chung Lee from Bloodsport?
I don't know.
What is yours? Oh, you got the same guy. I think. Yeah.
Is that a guy? Don't misgender the native on here. I don't know what this is.
I
This
thought
could
this
be
was
either
that
way.
movie that's in a foreign language about South America. That
It's
Apocalypto?
Guacamole.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Apocalypse.
I thought this was the guy in Apocalypto. That's really a good movie.
Oh yeah,
great
it's great.
movie.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's a great
the poisonous dart frog thing where he uses the poisonous dart frog and
Yeah,
I love
and then he gets the panther to go in.
Yeah.
He's like a crafty
He's very
dude.
sick,
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
this owl. I want to describe this to people so they can see this bill.
How
It's
crazy! is that?
colorful.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of, weird stuff on here now. Some sort of metallic thing on here. Republica Bolivariana.
Which probably
Venezuela.
costs more than
Oh,
what it's worth,
gosh,
right?
yes.
To do that metallic print.
And there's an owl
What does that
on
say?
the back.
BSV on there? No, BCV. Sorry.
Wait a second.
What is it? I thought it was BSV. It's BCV.
This
Sorry.
is a fork of the Bolivar, Satoshi's vision of the Bolivar. Thanks, man. I'm walking away with
Bolivars
2,000
is-
Bolivars. This is great.
Hey man, someday it's going to be worth
I'd give you a
2,000
dollar.
Bolivars.
I'd give you a dollar bill in exchange for it, but the dollar's worth more.
I made some money, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm gonna buy some little mini Twix at the
I had
store.
some $1 trillion Zimbabwe bills.
Also
Yeah.
virtually worthless.
Worth
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's just.
But I give
nuts.
those out to people. Like, oh, that's a great idea.
You're a trillionaire now.
I'm going to give you $1 trillion.
You go walk to 7-Eleven
And
and
then they
spend
usually
that.
post it. Oh, Gary Leland gave me. They think it's really cool, and they post it.
Imagine going into McDonald's with that. They wouldn't know.
I want the whole place. Here's $1 trillion.
They wouldn't know what to do with it.
What if we just went? I mean, we're in San Francisco. There's homeless
Do you
people
ever-
everywhere. We just gave them all like stacks of Bolivars, so we just flood San Francisco with Bolivars.
People
Am
are
I gonna get
so.
arrested?
Did you ever see the video Mark Dice did years ago? At Huntington Beach, he walked out with a stack of Hershey bars
Mm-hmm.
and a 10-ounce silver bullion.
Okay.
And he walked up to people and filmed them and said, "Hey, I'm doing a giveaway today. Would you rather have this 10-ounce bullion bar or this delicious Hershey bar?" The Hershey bars all went. People are like, "What am I going to do with silver?" They don't understand the value.
Right.
Wow.
They want immediacy.
They want a candy bar. You're giving me a free candy bar? Heck yeah. I mean, 10 ounces of silver, that's about $200.
But it's the same thing as
is that
this-
like 10 ounces? Like how big is 10 ounces?
Well,
like,
it
no,
was
no,
like a
it's
bar.
like a little
It's like
bar.
it's like a phone.
Like size. Okay. Like size.
Yeah, it'd be like the size of an iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah, typically a 1-ounce coin is like the size of a fake Bitcoin.
I had some 5-ounce
okay, so
bars.
that's
That's
okay.
what I'm going. I had some 5-ounce, so I'm kind of thinking it was twice the size of the
Yeah.
5-ounce. So I'm going.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as this guy who's doing walking around now. You see a lot of people doing takeoff on this. He goes, "Do you want $1, or do you want Bitcoin. And a lot of people are going, or $10 versus Bitcoin. A lot of people go, I'll take that $10. I don't know about that Bitcoin crap, but I'll take that $10. So
I heard that's for criminals.
And I think
Bitcoin.
everybody that are, on the final edited cut version,
Right.
It might be a different story today.
He might have only been able to find 1 out of 30 that took the.
Right.
But on the edited version, all these people going, I'll take that 10. He goes,
I can't
why
remember.
are you taking that? Because I can get something to eat right now with that. I don't know how to get rid of that Bitcoin.
I can't remember who tweeted it. It might have been Dan
That's a
Held.
good point.
But somebody did a survey with kids to this same sort of question. They're like, do you want, it was like, I think, do you want like $1 a week for the rest of your life? Or do you want, it was like Fortnite bucks, like for the game Fortnite. And every single kid was like Fortnite bucks.
Yeah,
like they get the currency thing. They get that it has actually
a value.
intrinsic value. They're like $1. I don't give a shit about that. But mindsets are changing slowly. But
by the way, I think it might pay to timestamp. I don't know when you're going to air this, but it is Wednesday, June 25th. 11:30 in the morning, Bitcoin is at 11,300.
See, he's not too bad of a podcaster. Look at this. None of us thought of that.
Yeah,
well, he might be the best podcaster here. Just going,
let's do that.
Making like he's a bad podcaster.
He set a very low standard and bad podcast. So I mean, he's
we timestamp all the time because sometimes we'll interview somebody a couple weeks in advance, and then people hear it and they're like, "What do you mean Bitcoin's 8,000? It's 12." I'm like. So we try and let people know this is when we're recording this.
This is when we do it.
Yeah, I just tell people the price of Bitcoin and how much it went up in the last 7 days.
Right. We just always,
actually, that's a good point. If it's first podcast they've listened to, and they listen to episode 30 instead of episode 42,
right?
Go, this guy's all out of it.
Yeah, if they start with episode 1 for us, Bitcoin was $2,000 when we started.
Wow.
So
yeah,
I bought my first
That's
Bitcoin.
crazy.
In May of 2017. The show started 2 months later, but I didn't buy what I should have.
Let's roll off of that. Let's back up. Like, how did you get into crypto to begin with?
It's really funny. I've made my career out of being a bit of a futurist. Not because I'm not like a futurist that's like, in 5 years, we're all going to be on hoverboards. Like, not like that. Like, I just see all the new tech and toys and I want to play with them.
Right.
So I'm like one of the first ones to have an Oculus Rift. I bought the first iPhone when it came out. I paid the $600 in 2007 for it. Like, I always have gravitated to stuff, and I built my first website in 1995. So I'm always like...
And he's always been ahead of me. He was ahead of me by a year on that, too. He's always been just a little bit ahead of me.
It's okay, Gary. You're still rocking it. You're a Hall of Famer. I'm a Hall of Famer in a different way. I'm in the Guerrilla Marketing Hall of Fame.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a gorilla.
Please explain.
Because I'm hairy. Guerrilla Marketing is J. Conrad Levinson wrote the book on it.
Right.
And his widow... he passed a few years ago, left a great legacy. I mean, guerrilla marketing has just impacted so many people. The books have sold millions of copies. And guerrilla marketing essentially is non-traditional ways of getting your message out. And a couple of years ago at their annual event, I was the second person inducted into the Guerrilla Marketing Hall of Fame after Seth Godin.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So I'm an interesting company.
Cool.
Anyway, enough tooting my own horn. Let me toot my own horn some more because you asked how I got in. So what's really interesting about this is I'm actually setting myself up to have missed the boat on this because I heard about Bitcoin from some of my peers probably 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I didn't understand this whole idea of mining.
No.
Like, what is there a little man inside my computer with a, like ding, 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 ding in Bitcoin? I didn't get it. And because I didn't make the connection there, I didn't think about it. And it wasn't until early 2017, I was at an internet marketing conference in Denver, actually, where I live. And Davin Michaels, who owns a massive outsourcing organization in Philippines, 123employee.com. There you go. There's a shout out for you, Davin. For whatever reason, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And my curiosity all of a sudden just was there. And I started asking questions. It's like, oh, yeah, you should check this out. This is going to be the future. I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready to start listening. And Travis Wright and I had been friends for a number of years. And during the election season, we had discussions every day on Messenger, about Trump and Hillary and elections. And of course, that ended up as it did. And our conversations started turning towards crypto. He was interested in it too. In fact, he mined some. He got 50 Bitcoin off of a faucet, like in 2011.
Wow.
And he figured, he got a new computer, and they were on the hard drive, and they're gone forever. So
yeah.
So
one
that's
point,
part of that 4,000 that are lost.
Yep.
Travis is 50.
Yep.
Trying to figure out who all those people are.
He
Making
actually-
a list.
Yeah, if we can get them all down. So he
Cross
likes
them off.
Let me open up my spreadsheet here.
he likes to tell that story now, but I like to tell it more because I always point out how he's lost his $1 million because it was worth $1 million at when Bitcoin hit 20, and who knows what it'll be worth one day. Anyway, our conversations turned to crypto, and it was a daily thing. I mean, we're on Messenger back and forth. What do you think of this Ethereum thing? And I started once I understood mining. Click, I got it, and I became fascinated with it. And again, it was every day we're talking about stuff, and it was July 16th that we're talking so much, and he sends me a message, and he says, when are we going to start the Joel and TW crypto show with a little winky emoji? And the moment he said that, it was like, boom!
Dude.
I said, I'm calling you right now. I mean, instantly I responded. I picked up the phone. I said, we're going to do this. We're going to do this show. And I was inspired that the name came from another show that I listened to called the Bad Christian Podcast. It's these, recovering religious, pastor, and a couple others. They're, they still have their faith, but they've really come out of the indoctrination that a lot of mainstream religions put upon people. And I'm a person of faith, and so listening to these guys, I found liberating. I thought, you know what? They're bad Christian. We can be bad crypto because we don't know what the heck we're talking about, and we're just inviting people to go on this journey. And that's it. Now,
but that's how everyone starts. That's how everyone needs to start. Sure.
Now we actually know a thing or two, which is, what now we might have to rename the show the Not So Bad or the Meh Crypto Podcast.
The good thing about starting a podcast, because my podcast started basically the same way. We wanted to get information and learn. But the thing about starting a podcast is like you can get like Tim Draper to come on your show and ask him questions in person. Or John McAfee, you can get you're not just reading or listening to stuff. You can get people to come on and ask him personally,
right?
Hey, how's this work and stuff, and hear from experts, one-on-one. So to me, it's great. People can learn with you, but your learning curve moves at such a much faster rate because you're talking to people one-on-one. Yeah. And then you got the before show stuff you talk about and the after show stuff. And then, it really is like learning on steroids, when you can do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the first things I learned podcasting was that people love to talk. Because before I got into it, it was like, man, how do they get those? Like, how do you get people to do that? And it's like, no, people love to talk, especially in crypto space.
I hate talking.
Some people
I have no words left.
Sometimes you get someone on there and you really have to drag
You
them.
just black out.
It's true. Yeah, don't you hate when you have the guests on and they give you these really short answers, and you're like, all right, well, that's all the time we've got.
When did you get into crypto? 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all they say. Okay. And what was it like? It's okay.
Yeah. All right, then.
That happens just in real life, too. Like, if you're at a party, and it's like, so what's up, man? Nothing. Where you from?
Mm-hmm.
Down the street.
Don't you love when you
Orlando.
have somebody from a crypto project on the show that is like this? They're the brainchild, right? They understand the tech, but they're not charismatic and they're not the marketing or PR person. And we had a guy on recently, and we actually had to stop after we did the interview and said, this isn't going to work.
We've done that.
This heavy, thick Russian accent, which is fine, but it sounded like this. And so we have the multi-chain with the blockchain, and you have to 8 blocks per minute, and this is how we are able to. And we're like, oh my gosh, I want to blow my brains out. And our listeners, they'll be gone.
Yeah,
they are going to tune this out.
Yeah,
and so we said, do you have anybody on your team that is more charismatic? And so we re-recorded it with somebody, and we put, but these people, some have no business being in front of a microphone.
No.
Like me.
Yeah, I was going to say. Like me.
Here, I think
We're the best self-deprecators, right?
I feel confident that I can cut myself down more than anything.
I think that's a great point, that just about how a podcast is really just an opportunity to just learn whatever the hell you want.
Totally.
It is actually. On the podcast I used to do, the Gary Leland show, I decided I wanted to take my stores, because I have brick and mortar stores. I decided, for an example, I wanted to learn about being on Amazon. And I knew nothing about having an Amazon store. And there's this guy named Chris Green. I don't know if you know Chris.
Yeah, I know Chris.
And he has a book, this real expensive book, and he does hundreds of thousands a month on Amazon. And so I contacted him and said, hey, would you come on my podcast? He goes, sure. So I spent the entire hour asking him questions that I needed to know to set up my, and he's like,
good questions.
They were good questions that someone starting out would want to know. And so he answered all my questions, and he's like, when it was over, we were talking, he goes, that was fantastic. Let's do it again. I said, well, in about a month, I'm going to ask more questions probably. We sure will.
Nice.
So that was a perfect example, though. If I'd called Chris up and said, I'm wanting to set up an Amazon page. Could I talk to you for about an hour and explain how to do this? And he's going, buy my book for $500 or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I had a show, he was spending the time. It's the same principle is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's a different genre, but it's the same principle. You can have, if you have a show. Do you have anyone that you've ever called just to have on your show that said, any of y'all, that said, I might come on your show, but how many listeners you get? I've never had anyone ask me that.
That's happened to us.
Oh, yeah. I've never had it. Now, of advertisers, I have, but not just someone to be on my show.
Advertisers. I'm
just talking about someone that you said, hey, I want to have you on my show. I'm not charging you. I just want you on my show. Have you had that person say? I've never had that person.
Well, so one thing we've had is we'll have them just not respond to us, and then we will tell them how many downloads we have, and then they're
like, yeah, we want to play. We've had a couple people say no. Nick Szabo said no.
Yeah, he's a hard one to get.
Yeah, but you know why he said no? He looked at the roster and he saw, well, you had McAfee on, you had Brock Pierce on, he's like, I won't be on a show that interviews, and he called them names. And I'm like, all right then.
Okay.
Aren't you a special little snowflake? Yeah. So, Nick, too bad.
Yeah, I get it. People
got to think about their PR. I never get a reply from him. So, you got to reply.
Well, we did get a reply. There's a couple others that we still want on. You tell me if you guys have had them yet. Have you had either the Winklevi?
No, would love to get the Winklevi.
Yeah, no replies there either.
Trying to get the Winklevi. And Rachel Wolfson, who's our crypto chick, got 2 minutes with Vitalik at a conference that we included in a show. So we were able to say we had Vitalik, but we haven't gotten Vitalik on yet either.
I've heard he's hard to get too.
He talks to Laura Shin a lot.
He does talk to Laura Shin?
Yeah.
See, Laura is like the perfect podcaster or podcastress, right? Because she's got the bona fides, right? She's got the credentials, having written for Forbes all these years. Mm-hmm. She is what I consider a serious journalist. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I think that she has that in. She's probably talked to one or both of the Winklevi, I would assume.
So does Rachel really hurt your show because she's kind of like a seasoned pro at this, and your show's getting not saying bad because you have her on there. All of a sudden that episode's kind of good.
Yeah, and we spun her off into her own show, so now she does the Crypto Chick with Rachel Wolfson. Which, by the way, most women are not offended. We think it's a term of endearment, but there's a couple. They're like, oh, we don't like you to call us.
Yeah, I remember one show you said that, and the person was like, oh, no. Yeah, she wasn't happy.
Yeah, we don't.
And you didn't mean it in a negative way because I heard you saying it. You were just like joking around like you always do, going, hey, we got a crypto chick on the girl. Yeah, on the show.
No, I'm a lady. Okay. Well, I'm a dude. I mean, whatever. I'm offended. Okay.
Crypto dude.
We're in the world's largest safe space in San Francisco. So
this room could be the world's smallest safe space.
There's a safe box in the next room, Evers too.
Yeah.
I feel very unsafe in here right now.
Well,
it's only going to get worse.
Hey, if you're listening at home and you're not here or in your car or wherever, they got a ton of neat stickers here. I mean, they really do.
We do have a lot of great stickers.
I like your stickers.
We should put some up in the store. I do want to switch gears, and I'm really interested in this topic. Gary, you own a wallpaper store.
We're the largest wallpaper store in Texas. Sir.
In Texas. The Texas is really big.
I thought you owned the largest softball equipment store.
I have that too. We're in Texas. We do everything on art.
Hall of Fame,
right? We do everything. Now, I don't know that I have the biggest. I've never claimed I have the biggest softball store. I do claim I have the biggest. I put that sign on my door 20 years ago, and no one's come in yet to prove me wrong. Sales rep, anybody says largest wallpaper store in Texas, and I'm sticking with it till someone proves me wrong.
So it's like the best cup of coffee sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But Gary also has the biggest mouth.
Yeah, I do have a big mouth. When I was a kid, I used to yell so much in my mouth, I would rip my right there. I'd rip it. Right where your bottom lips.
Don't
in the
do
corners.
that.
I don't do it now.
That's supposed to happen.
I don't yell that much anymore as a kid. But I do. And we take Bitcoin at both stores.
How often does somebody?
Never. I was telling them earlier.
Never?
I spend more time paying employees to tell people what Bitcoin is because they come in and go, "Hey, I'm going to buy this bat. What the heck is that Bitcoin?" And then I got an employee trying to spend 15 minutes to explain it to them, going, "Well, that just cost me $5 to."
Is it because of where you're at? You feel like where's the store at?
It's in Arlington, Texas.
Okay, well that's an urban area.
Right. I don't know if it's because where it's at. I have clients.
It's not like an Amarillo.
Well, let's just phrase it this way. I got the biggest store, wallpaper store in Texas. In Dallas, Fort Worth, where I'm at, there's 5 million people, and there's 3 wallpaper stores. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if I'm in the suburb or not. Chances are, with mine being the bigger one, you're going to come whether you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever, to my store to buy your wallpaper.
Just because if you're into wallpaper, you're just not really into technology? Is it the wallpaper crowd?
It could be.
Maybe have you offered a discount? Somebody pays with Bitcoin, they get a couple % off.
What do I want to do that for? Why would someone ask me
so
that?
You can say.
I'd rather have your fiat and cash it into Bitcoin.
Yeah, but don't you want to help adoption?
No.
I don't want the money. Give me the money.
Yeah,
this is a
if I want Bitcoin, I'll just take the cash and I can get a little more Bitcoin. I get 10% more instead of giving 10% discount.
And they still get their wallpaper.
And then I'll have to explain to them what Bitcoin is. I was telling them earlier, some guy came in one day. As soon as we put the sign up the same day, a guy comes walking in and goes, "I got some Bitcoin with me. I got 4,000 Bitcoin in this bag." And he had no idea what a Bitcoin was. He goes, "What can I buy with that?" And I said, "You can have the entire building and all the inventory, sir."
Right.
Let me see that bag right now.
And then he's like, "I ain't got no Bitcoin."
Yeah, like he'd fooled me. I was just joking you. I don't have
chocolate golden coins.
Yeah. I don't even have a bag. I was joking you.
I bought a Bitcoin on eBay. Is it round? And they sent it to me. I got it for $10. Sir, that is not a Bitcoin. It looked like a Bitcoin.
It's only worth $1.
Yeah, it's not even.
If you find someone to pay that for it at a novelty store.
Well, you can buy boulevards on eBay, at least. So.
Yeah, I'm still kind of surprised you can get those in the country. I'm not joking. I would think that would be like something. I'm serious. I don't know.
I think they're so worthless, no one cares.
Yeah, but that could be true. But I would imagine that anything from
you can't
Venezuela,
get the petro, right? You can't. It's illegal to purchase their crypto.
Can bring in. I tried, and the reason I say this, this money is so valueless, has no value. People actually take it and they weave out of bolivars purses. Like that you carry like a purse and it's made out of bolivars. And I tried to get one of those and I couldn't get it. The guy wouldn't ship it to the U.S.
Oh, I thought maybe you couldn't find one that matched your colors.
No, they had 3 or 4. One went perfect.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get anyone to ship it to the U.S. out of the guys I found online. Not that I found a ton of people selling them, but I found a couple of people with Etsy stores, that were down there, and they wouldn't ship it. They said, "No, you won't get it." They actually said, "You won't get it." They said, and actually one of them said, "There's so much cocaine down here that every Venezuelan boulevard's got a little cocaine on it, so the dogs usually sniff it coming through and stop the packages because they smell the cocaine on the boulevards." I don't know.
Was there any of that boulevard you just gave me? I'm like,
that's what the person from there said.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. Someone
heard Charlie Sheen's on it. He's going up and down the border, finding all the boulevards.
He's trying to get that dust.
He's looking for all that dust.
Give me more of them sweet boulevards.
Yeah.
So when you search it, did you find anything out on that?
Yeah, it didn't come up immediately. They're just talking about the boulevard and how basically utterly worthless it is. But I would think if there's sanctions on it, you can't be using it.
Now, what would happen if we have a dollar collapse, right? And these dollar bills that we carry were to become equally worthless. See, I think we would see crypto adoption faster than where are we now in the timeline? Where do you guys think we are? We've been through the big boom, right? And I know you could say there's been multiple bull runs, but there was no bull run like the last bull run because the last bull run got mainstream media attention.
And everybody knows what it is now. You ask him if you heard of Bitcoin, everybody just about says,
they don't necessarily know what it is.
No, but they've heard of it.
They've heard of it.
But they had not heard of it before that run up.
Right.
Well, really, it was just the first boom. Really, because if you look at like gold over time, it's done similar things. as far as like, chart analysis goes. So really it's just the first one. It's like, we just don't fucking know, right? Just so early.
What year? I mean, this is I've been asking this of people for 2 years, and I have my thoughts on it. But we were there when the first websites were built. It was 1995. I set up my first site. There was 18,000 sites in the world that year.
I don't know how many there was in '96.
Probably about 40. I'm guessing.
Yep.
Yeah, which is still nothing, compared to what there is now. And I remember riding the first .com boom.
Right.
And making crazy money back then, up until 2000, and then boom, the bubble, burst.
Right.
And businesses that were never businesses in the first place went out of business, and some hung on. I remember when I first read an article about this guy selling books out of his garage, and people laughing at him, and I'm thinking, no, this is going to happen. E-commerce is going to happen. We're going to be spending tons online, and so when we look at crypto. Where are we in terms of web years? What do you guys think?
I don't think we're 96 yet.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we're 96 yet, personally. I think we're like 93. We're getting ready to hit 96.
Really?
We still got people saying 96 when I did my site. I contacted people. It was a wallpaper website. Are you kind of surprised? Anyway, I contacted wallpaper vendors and said, hey, can I have pictures from y'all? Because we didn't have digital cameras or anything that I can put on my website.
Right, yeah.
Because they had catalogs. And they go, what for? And I told them, they go, no, we're not going to send you any pictures because that's stupid as hell. No one's going to buy wallpaper on the internet. And I said, well, I think people will buy wallpaper. And I think we're there right now. People are in denial. They're not thinking it's real. That's why I say we're not there to the 96 yet. People are acting like they did when I asked them for photos. No, that's stupid. We're not, we're not getting any of that. We're not going to do that. It's stupid. It's not going to work. And I think that's what the masses are still thinking. Yeah, there's some people who are saying yes, like those 18,000 people who were on it when you started, or the 40 when I started. They're saying it's a good idea, but the masses aren't. So that's why I say we're not at 96 even yet.
Interesting.
That's my thought. Yeah. My question I ask people all the time is, I hear all the time from people, when that Netscape moment happened.
It happened.
What is it? What was the Netscape
Libra.
moment?
It just happened.
So that's the Netscape moment?
The world doesn't know it yet.
Can you guys explain the Netscape moment?
Yeah, the net they call it the Netscape watershed moment, because there was an internet for a decade before Netscape came out, but you had to have terminal programs and complicated way. It was like using MS-DOS on your your IBM PC. There was no easy way to browse the web, and so out comes the web browser. And actually, Netscape wasn't the first, but they were the first that successfully marketed a web browser that made it easy for you to go in www.whatever.com, and all of a sudden you had the world at your fingertips.
And you could get pictures.
And you can get pictures, right? Pretty pictures and image maps and all that. And that is when Netscape came out, the number of people online surged. Millions of people were on the internet all of a sudden on the web. So the comparison, to crypto is, what is that moment that we've been thinking of in terms of, I think, an application that would make it easy for people to get online. But I think we were wrong in looking for an app. I think it is Facebook announcing Libra. All of a sudden, you're going to have 2.5 billion people that are going to have access to their coin, which whatever we think about is a different story. But now the attention of the legitimacy is coming to crypto.
I think that's a great point. Yeah. I was still stuck on the it being some kind of tool, that we would be using to make it easier.
Yeah, we all were.
This, I think, I went into my dentist last week to get my teeth cleaned. I wanted to look pretty before I got out here.
Let me see. Oh, very nice.
And my dentist.
Is that
I'm
gold?
in the chair. Yes,
or Bitcoin.
It's gold.
Is that Bitcoin too?
It's a Bitcoin. I melted down.
Wait,
I have like two of them here, one there.
I got a wallet in my tooth. Wouldn't that be interesting? Like you take your wallet with you everywhere.
So you capture it,
anyway,
and swallow it.
My person cleaning my teeth goes, Gary, can I ask you a question that's not about? And I said, yeah. Whatever. She goes, what do you think of Libra? I'm going, really? Yeah. And she goes, I heard about it, and I don't know anything about Bitcoin. But I heard about this Libra. Yeah. And I was like, really? You're like, wow. I was just really amazed that this person has nothing to do with it, knew about Libra.
They're going to hear about it everywhere. And because they're going to hear about that, they're also going to make the connection go, well, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, it's in the news again. And the price is coming back. And wait a second, I need to learn more about this.
Yeah.
So I think it's happened. I just think that most of the world doesn't know it yet, but we're going to look back at it. That's my prediction.
That's a good prediction. I think that's a good... Definitely didn't come
You
up
put
with
your
that.
money on that one?
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Well,
Okay.
I think it depends on if they actually are able to go all the way through this and come out
They
with
will.
it.
I mean, you've got Congress saying, we want you to put a moratorium on development of this. Yeah, like Facebook's going to stop
Yeah, I think
because Senate wants them to.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like hardcore Bitcoiners too. They look at like the Libra stuff and they're like, "Oh my God, this could be so terrifying." Like 1984, they see it and they think it could also bring a lot of like, it could also be great for Bitcoin, but really bad for the world. What do y'all
It's
think?
Zuckerberg's ploy to become a world bank.
Yeah.
And this
We're a
is
nation,
why, we're a nation. And this is why, I mean, look who all's investing in this, right? Visa or MasterCard and PayPal and
Sure.
eBay and Uber. They're all putting in their 10 million in the pot. They're basically bowing down to the throne.
Yeah.
And they see the writing on the wall. They're like, oh, crap.
We need to be in here with these guys.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to be on the outside.
Right.
Right.
They are literally bending the knee
Yeah.
at the altar of Zuckerberg right now.
And they threw some nonprofits in there to
Of course
make
they
it look
did, yeah.
make it look nice and pretty.
We all
Sure.
know what it is.
Oh, totally.
And this, but I think the awareness it's going to bring to crypto.
Well, you're going to have
good.
2 billion
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
have crypto wallets now.
Yep.
I mean, and they're going, what is this? And I actually think, I was telling someone the other day, I actually think they'll give everybody like $5 or $10. Why not? They can
That's
make as
what
much as they
people-
want. I mean,
Yeah.
they could give everybody $1,000 if they wanted to.
That's how you-
They're just making it up.
That's
I
how
mean,
you onboard people
Yeah.
to
Totally.
all of a sudden they
platform.
got a wallet and they got some money and they go, what do I do with it? Well, let me figure this out. And then they go, okay, I've done this. I think I'll get some of that Bitcoin. I think you made a really good point there. I think that's
Yeah.
the best thing you said all day.
One of
Maybe.
Except
our
when you said I was
coworkers-
looking good earlier. I think that was
good also.
Right.
So just to timestamp that, I think it was 2 months ago where I had that aha moment,
Mhm.
and I said before it came out on one of the shows that I think that this could be it. But now that it's out, I'm solid on it's the.
I think that's a
the
really good
earthquake has hit, and we're already starting to feel the ripples of it throughout the world.
Yeah.
And when they roll this thing out next year, instantly people are gonna. They're not going to see it as this complicated cryptocurrency. They're going to see it as this form of payment.
Yeah.
I mean, we take out our wallets and we've got these little credit cards with this chip on it,
Sure.
a stripe.
Yeah.
I don't know how the damn thing works.
I don't.
I
Yeah.
put it in and somehow I pay for my stuff. And once a month I send, dirty fiat.
It goes back to the Hershey
To
bar
Visa.
thing. Like at the end of the day, do you care what the technology is, or the fact that you got your cup of coffee in the morning? Like that's really.
I don't know
what it
how
is.
email works, to be honest with you. I hate email.
It's like people want immediacy,
but I don't
and this
have
will lend immediacy. It'll
I
like
think so.
if you can, open that door to grandma or.
And it's
Yeah.
not an investment coin.
No, it's a stable coin.
You're not going to, but here's the big question.
Ooh.
All right, let's say the economy does go into recession. Let's say the dollar is worth even less. Guess what? Your stable coin won't buy what it used to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the more
So
it
is
makes
it
the
that
case
stable?
even
Yeah.
more. It's only stable in that it's pegged directly to the US dollar. But we know that the US dollar has gone down in value 97%,
So it'll continue to.
right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean, stable? You're not earning interest on that quote unquote stable coin. But what do we know of that is deflationary, that goes up in value, that is limited in supply?
Hershey's bars.
The one true.
Yes.
Gosh,
Yeah.
We're
Invest
onto
in-
something.
Yeah,
Buy
and, that's really,
Hershey's.
and those are getting burnt up all the time. They're less and less.
They just make more though.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
so we are on to something
no,
there.
they're
Really-
they're
Have you guys
making
heard
more.
of Butterfinger was bought by like some European like chocolate company?
The,
So the old Butterfinger, apparently they've come out with a new Butterfinger. It's way better than the old one.
The old one was pretty good.
But people are like
I like the
stockpiling
old
the
one.
old kind now.
I like
That
Butterfinger
makes
Blizzards
sense.
if we're going to talk about Butterfinger. So,
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? Because there's a short supply.
Yeah.
But that's like people stocked incandescent light bulbs when the new ones were coming
Or
out.
when Coke, came
Oh,
out
yeah.
with, remember the new
New
Coke
Coke.
tobacco?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Read a great book about that called The Other Guy Blinked. It was all about the Pepsi and Coke wars. Probably read it 30 years ago when the whole thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are probably too young to remember when they came out with
The can
new
said
Coke.
new on them.
It said new Coke, and people were furious.
Lost their minds. Yeah.
They
They weren't
lost it.
crypto furious either. Right?
But they blinked because Pepsi was taking market share and Pepsi was reaching the younger generation. That was their marketing.
It was a sign of a new generation or something.
It's a
They were
Pepsi
at.
generation.
Yeah, Pepsi generation.
Yeah, they got, Michael Jackson
Oh, that's right. That's
to
right.
do commercials and
His hair caught on fire doing a commercial.
He
for
absolutely
Pepsi.
did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good piece of trivia there, Gary. Nice job. And they blinked. Coke blinked and they said, well, we better, if we're going to stay relevant. And they changed their recipe. It's like KFC did too, right? They changed their recipe. We're like, no, we want the old recipe.
Right.
We
We
like
like that
this. That's
extra
why we
crispy.
go, you
Right.
know?
Like that greasy stuff.
But they're looking at their charts, and if they plateau, they're doing something wrong. So it's like, oh, we gotta shake it up. We gotta shake the cage. And
Yep.
it's not always the right move. But
And Bitcoin's not good enough, so we need a new Bitcoin.
Bitcoin oil.
hey, well, we're gonna cut you guys off. Hold
40 forks of Bitcoin.
on. Right.
And by the way, in case you guys hadn't heard, Bitcoin is dead.
Really?
About 400 times now.
It's at $400
It is
today.
the most resurrected thing.
I think my phone's wrong because it was $400 earlier. Are you sure my app must be broken?
I'm curious what's happened to it in the last 30 minutes since I gave the last price update. We just had Edward Moncada. Have you had him on your show yet?
No.
Blockfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the episode just coming out, and really fascinating how he stumbled into it. So Bitcoin is now at 11,379. So we're getting, we're going to tip 400 soon, and I know.
Mine says
Love that money.
Mine says $393. I like mine better.
Yours is better.
Baby Jesus.
Right?
Bitcoin is worth more in Gary's time zone.
Yeah, I
He's
just
one
like
zone
it.
over.
I'm ahead. I'm in the future.
You are. You're-
Oh,
Joel,
tell you-
Gary, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
You don't want this to turn into a Joe Rogan episode where we're going for hours.
We've been
We-
here quite a while.
We gotta stop it for.
We do. We're
What
at
a disc space.
for our
Yeah.
listeners. We are at the conference, so we do have things to do. But I do
Oh,
before we
that's
We're just filler.
before we sign off.
They got people who paid to be here though, and we're taking up all the time.
No. Before we go, Bitcoin price predictions for December 2019.
Oh, good question.
Um,
you will be held to this.
2019 December.
By the end of the year,
Yeah.
where are we going to be at?
I'm gonna go with $75,000. I'm serious.
Whoa.
By the end of this year?
Yeah, I'm
That's
serious.
crazy.
Bold.
I know that's crazy.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Leland's got some
I'm
cojones
serious.
over here.
I'm serious.
Well,
That's mine. Well,
I
are we
certainly-
putting up some money on this or what?
I just gave you 2,000 bolivars.
Okay.
I mean,
I
I
forgot. I already
certainly,
got my prize. I'm serious. I'm going with $75,000 by the end of the year.
Okay.
I
I'm a big
would,
believer.
I would love to hear the rationale behind that.
Because I think when this thing starts is happening right now, I think this is going to happen way faster than anyone is even thinking. That we're going to move at a pace that's going to multiply itself out. It's my feeling.
End of the year is usually
Okay.
when the price gets crazy.
Well, if you really sit back and think about it, last time we had this bull run on Thanksgiving, it was about, I remember telling somebody, yes, it'll down from 7,500, and in 3 weeks to 4 weeks, it was $19,000.
Mhm.
So to move at that pace is not that big a deal. Not with this much time, because now we're talking June. So if we just did that bull run that we did from November to Christmas, if that continued from now till Christmas,
Joel, if you're still thinking, I'll throw out a price.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 25,000.
yeah, I think that's way low.
That's actually what was closer to my mind. But here's I'm looking at what we know. The next halving is in next May.
Yeah.
And if we look historically at the last three halvings, 1 year before that halving is when the bull run has started, for good reason, right? The difficulty level is going to double.
Right.
It's going to be twice as hard to get your hands on Bitcoin. And now if we look at Litecoin, the halving is coming up in
August.
August,
Yeah.
45 days or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And Litecoin has gone from about $30 at the low to, what is it, about 140
It's around
right now?
133 today.
133.
Yeah, 30,
Okay.
I was gonna guess.
So I'm going to look at that as a model, and then I'm going to increase the percentage. So I'm working backwards from next May. If we go by that model, Bitcoin should be at around 50,000 by next May. I haven't run the formula on it. I'm just pulling this out of my ass.
Okay.
But if it's 50,000 by May and it's going to accelerate going into the spring, I'm going to go with 22,000 end of
December.
year.
I don't think either one of those work though, because if you're using a Litecoin as an example, I don't think you have the companies in there getting FOMO
that is
you do
true.
in Bitcoin. Bitcoin not only has the people that Litecoin has getting FOMO, but you're going to have corporations and companies getting FOMO that buy large amounts.
That you could be right about that. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I want you to be correct with this.
So that's where I think the difference is the fact you're going to have, Fidelity is mining stuff in their Dallas branch.
And blockchain is in the news. Again, this watershed moment with Libra. I just read today that Walmart signed a deal with VeChain.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So the VeChain went up like 40%. Well, I hope you're right, because then my 3 Satoshis will be worth a lot more.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then I figure something's going to happen where they're going to decide to forgive everybody's school debt or something, and all of a sudden they got $1 trillion they got to print, and that's going to help. I mean, something's going to happen in the world economy. Probably that's going to help. I'm telling you, this is very easy to happen. What I'm saying here, it may sound crazy, but I think it's very.
Can I ask one more follow up then? Well, I'm going to ask it anyway. I know you guys want to end the show, but
ask away.
What happens to the altcoins? And I don't mean those, below the top 100. I mean your standard, stuff that have a decent sized market cap, that some of them are purely peer-to-peer payments, Dogecoin, Litecoin, whatever. Some of them are utility tokens. Are they going to follow like last time in Bitcoin's wake, or are we going to see a consolidation of coins that survive?
I personally am getting rid of almost all. I've almost gotten rid of all my altcoins. I'm putting everything I have into Bitcoin. I'm a believer in Bitcoin. I am thinking that's where you're going to make the maximum money at. I don't think anything's going to move like Bitcoin is.
You're a Bitcoin maximalist.
I kind of am right now.
You're like Tone Vase.
I kind of am right now, because I think I don't know that I'm like Tone Vase, but I think that Bitcoin is where you want to have your. I'm not a financial advisor either.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
Tone actually got it wrong. We had him on a panel in Consensus in New York at Ian Bellina's thing, and he was at that time, I think Bitcoin was about 5,500, and he was calling for 3,000 Bitcoin before the run back up. So Tone, you missed that one, bro.
All right, Dave, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go 25,000.
25. I'm gonna lowball everybody just to be that guy. I'm gonna say 18.
The bear.
I'm gonna say
I'm gonna say with 24.9 if we're playing Wheel of Fortune.
The price is right.
I just
Gary gave
I think it's gonna creep up there. I think it's gonna creep.
I'm just going with 25.5.
Next
I know we were
spring,
playing.
next spring, I think it's gonna really accelerate.
I think it's gonna happen before spring. I think it's gonna happen by Christmas.
I hope you're right.
I do too.
I hope you're right.
I do too.
All right, guys. Well, we got to cut you short. Thanks so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's good.
Yeah,
Really
I enjoyed
appreciate it.
Stay bad.
We'll be
show.
good.
Sorry.
You still can stay bad.
Stay bad.
Yeah, we might say something like, stay bad.
Or just stay.
Stay.
Okay, you can go now.
I can't even get a dog to stay. You stay. Why'd you stay?
Bad.
All right. Thanks, guys.
The Bitcoin Magazine podcast is a BTC Media produced podcast on the Let's Talk Bitcoin network. Today's episode was produced and edited by myself and Dave. Theme music provided by Billy Sly from the Crypto Cantina. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And if you got the time, please leave us a review. It really helps us improve the show and reach new listeners. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next week.